After shooting my first professional short film called Circle of the Soul, it's a psychological short that's now been submitted to around 20 festivals, I learned a lot. Some things went great, some things didn't, and if I could go back, here are some of the things that I would do differently. We shot the whole film in 2 days with 8 people, no budget, and only 2 of us actually knew how to use the gear that we got. So it was a crash course in stress, but also in what works and what doesn't. And I think that if we actually in those conditions did anything differently, I'm not sure we would have finished the movie. So in those conditions, I would not change anything. I would sacrifice my sleep completely and I would do everything the same. But if the conditions were a bit different, let's say for some of my future projects, having more time, different gear, more people, any of those things, here are some of the things that I would actually change. Number 1 is having way more buffer time. And when I say buffer time, I mean time that's extra. If you think you're gonna need 20 minutes to shoot one frame, one scene, sure, put 20 minutes and then put another 10-15 aside just in case something goes wrong or something that you didn't count on happens. I don't believe we had any buffer time during Circle of the Soul. And for every one of my future projects in the shot lists and in the planning, I'm going to include a lot of buffer time. Number 2 is I would actually take some time before the shooting to teach the crew that I'm working with how to use the gear that we have. So on this filming, again, as I said, only 2 of us actually knew how to use the gear because only 2 of us actually had experience with that gear. So for my future projects, I will actually take time to bring my crew here and teach them everything. So show them how my camera works, show them how my light works, show them how everything works, how to carry stuff, how to, pick up lenses, give them to the next person, teach them how to work with the gear we have. So when we come to the, location and when we actually have to film stuff, we can film it without any major hiccups and without any major problems, because somebody doesn't know, how to change the color temperature and light. For number 3, I would say don't skip the rest. So don't skip the resting, because there's going to be a lot of pressure on you as a director, filmmaker, actor, whatever, to, pull through and shine in the roles you have. And if you're not, if you're sleepless, if you're tired, you're not going to be able to bring your A game to the table, and a lot of people will be expecting you to bring your A game. For the shoot, I did not sleep for those 2 days. My crew slept for around 2 hours max, maybe. And sure, you can push through the next day. But then the day after, you're absolutely broken. And for the rest of the week, I was recovering from the 2-day shoot. I was recovering for a week. Those are a couple of things that I would change and in different circumstances and that didn't work, but there are some of the things that worked actually quite great, like the actor's performance. I think she did everything great. I think everything looked natural. I think because of the fact that I know her for a long time, we knew how to communicate things and how to work together to get to the desired outcome. So I think that that's extremely valuable, and we did some rehearsals before. Let's say we shot the most, I believe, complex scene because it's a oneer of the phone conversation. We shot actual phone conversation audio, I believe, a couple of weeks before, or maybe even a month before we actually shot the film. And then we did some rehearsals of more complex scenes that we knew that we'll have to nail on the spot. Also, I think that cinematography actually is quite good and works quite well, even though only 2 of us actually knew how to use all of the gear, fully. But I think it worked out quite nice. I believe that mix of light and fog actually gives the movie a nice vibe, and I believe this, I think at least, it might be just because I shot it, but I think the cinematography actually turned out quite nicely, and it works really well conveying the message of, eeriness, mystery, and, the whole psychological horror background. If you're thinking about making your first short film, here is some short advice I would give you. Prep extremely well. Prep until it's boring. I don't think we could have pulled off this movie if we did not prep our asses off. Second thing is include a lot of not free time, but include a lot of spare time in your schedule, include a lot of buffer time, and include a lot of time that if this goes wrong, we'll have time to fix it, to shoot it again, and we'll have time to do some repetitions. And for the last tip, that's actually, I believe, more important than anything I've said in this video, is your story is way more important than your gear, how your film looks, is the cinematography on point. None of that really matters if your story is amazing. If you have a great story with a great plot, great characters that you want to tell, it's, you know, nobody's gonna notice that you shot it on an iPhone or that you shot it on your old camera. So don't rely purely on gear. Same as this film could be terrible if we didn't have a good story, you know, but we had Arri Alexa, but if you don't have a good story, Arri Alexa is not gonna help you. You know, you can write, yeah, we shot on Arri Alexa, but if your story sucks, it's not gonna end well. Just look at Snow White. Speaking of quality stories, we are shooting 3 short films during this summer, 1 each month, and I will be documenting everything right here. From things that go wrong to things that go right, things we can fix, things we can't, everything. So subscribe if you wanna see some filmmaking tips and some filmmaking content.